welcome to our mini session today. I'm happy that you're here. Okay, and what we are going to discuss today is something that is very crucial, especially if you are a digital earner or someone who makes a digital entrepreneur or someone who makes money using the internet. Now, I love to address this particular kind of audience because of their uniqueness. They are young, they have a skill, but at the same time, they are not really informed. Okay, they have not been informed by experience, and they have not been informed by education. Now, the older generation, they have the opportunity of experience. So even if nobody teaches them about money in school, they get to learn about money as they go through life. And some of them have gathered quite a lot of experience that has the capacity to help them, even though they still need education, but experience must have taught them quite a lot. But the young ones who have been privileged and empowered by the opportunities of the 21st century are unique. Okay, you guys are a unique set of people because you have this skill, you have this ability, you have this capacity, which has enabled you to create something that a lot of people cannot even imagine. Okay, the research has it that the 21st century alone has produced more billionaires than all the other centuries combined. So you can imagine the opportunities that are available for those who are exploring the 21st century dynamics. Okay, so that is what makes the digital earners very unique, because velocity of money is different now. It's easy for you to make money, but just as it is easy for you to make money, it's also very easy for you to lose it. So that is why you see a lot of young guys, graphics designers, full stack developers, creatives. They make a lot of money. Some of them are earning dollars and all of that, but they still don't have a solid financial base. They are just, the rat race has been amplified for them. So you guys are unique and special, and if you can get it right in terms of education, you would not need to pay with experience, because the dangerous thing about paying with experience is that experience will cost you time, and if care is not taken, it can cost you your life. That is why the best way for a wise man to learn is through the experiences of other people, not his own experience. Because if you want to learn by your own experience, you might have an experience, you could have an experience you might not survive, right? So that's that. So today what we are looking at is the income processing system, a lifestyle design process that will help you to be in charge of your money and make sure that you have a financial outcome that encourages growth and progress for you, right? So the income processing system, this is one of my frameworks which I talk about, which is part of the money sense management, the money sense protocol, right? So look at how you have to look at this. This is how you have to look at this. Let's assume that this is a funnel, right? This is a funnel. So let's assume that this is a funnel, right? This is the top of the funnel, which is where you have your inflows. Okay, so this is income inflows, right? These are your inflows from different sources. Of course, there we have differences between sources of income and channels of we have different between streams of income and sources of income. So these are the various ways that money come into your life. These are the various ways that you get paid. So it could be from your graphics work, probably you're doing stuff on Upwork, probably from your agency or whatever. Money comes. That's inflow, right? Now the bottom, right, is outcome, right? This is your financial outcome. Now, what would determine what this outcome will look like is a function of what happens in the middle, right? What happens in the middle? So this middle is this is the place. At this middle is where what I refer to as lifestyle design happens. So how you design your life, your financial life, right, will determine what's going to happen here, and that will determine what is going to become your outcome. So what are the things that are important here? Number one is habits and behaviors. Your money habits and your money behaviors. Second one is expenses planning, right? Expenses planning. The third one is your savings system. Your habits and behavior, your expenses planning process, your savings system are the things that are going to determine your financial outcome. Now, this outcome could be growth or retrogression. Right? That is what can be your outcome. This is what can be your financial outcome. Okay? So you can have income flows from different places, from different sources. Okay? But what you do is more important than what you earn. That's a very crucial stuff you need to write down and you need to really appreciate. Okay? The income is not the problem. I'm sure you know yourselves and you have seen a lot of guys like you who earn more than you, but they don't have anything to show for it. I'm also sure that you have seen guys who earn less than you, who have more financial life, who have better financial results than yourself. The question is, what is happening? It is lifestyle design. It is the income processing system. How the person's income is processed in the middle is what is going to determine the person's financial outcome. So if you want to experience financial growth, it's a function of what you do in between here. If you experience financial retrogression, where it's like you take one step forward and you take 10 steps backwards, is a function of what you do here. So this is what I call the lifestyle design corner. Okay, so forget about your inflows. They will always come. You will always make money. You have the skill. You're a digital earner. You have the skill. You can make money. You can run ads now and you have tons of leads and you convert them and you make a lot of money. Okay, you have a skill that you can easily monetize on demand. That is not a problem. So inflow will always be there. The question is, how are you going to behave? How are you going to behave to ensure that your outcome is growth? Because truly nobody wants to experience financial retrogression. I am yet to see somebody who says, oh, I wake up every day, work so hard just to end up poor or broke. I mean, I haven't seen anybody like that. So it simply means that everyone wants to experience financial growth. You want to experience financial advancement. You want to make sure that this year you look at your finances and the result is better than what you had last year. Okay, that will be a function of what you do. So now let's quickly look at this design. Okay, first one is your habits and your behaviors. Okay, your habits and your behaviors. Now, when we talk about your habits, when we talk about your behaviors, we talk about what you do. Okay, what you do when money comes into your hand. What do you do? Okay, when you have an inflow, what do you do? What's your normal default behavior when money comes in? How do you think when money comes in? How does your excitement fuel your actions when you receive money? There are people that immediately they receive money, the first thing they start thinking about is, what do I buy? Okay, but financially successful people, they are people that when money comes into their hands, they are not thinking of what to buy. They are thinking of how to save it and how to channel that savings into an investment or into an opportunity. They are thinking of, okay, from this money now, what is the investment I should do? Okay, what's the leverage I could buy? So such persons cannot have the same result. Now, what you do with your money or how you behave when your money comes in, if you do it over an extended period of time, that becomes your financial habit. Okay, that becomes your financial habit. You can easily change your behavior. I mean, if you're just starting to behave in a certain way, you can catch yourself and quickly adjust this. But when things have become a habit, it is more difficult to change. Behaviors can be altered, but habits will have to now require a lot of switching for you to change it. That's why it's very good that you have a high level of self-awareness, because self-awareness will help you to constantly ask yourself, what's going on? What's the behavior that is coming up that is costing me progress right now, so that you could know what to do early enough so that you don't become a victim of your own behaviors, right? Because when behaviors persist over an extended period of time, they become habits, and habits are not easy to break. Some of you have very bad money habits. That's why I tell people that you really don't have money problem. What you have is a problem of habits and behavior. If you can fix your bad money habits and your bad money behaviors, you are going to find out that you're going to have a different financial outcome. So what are your money habits? Okay, what are your money habits? What are those things you do? Some of you have impulsive buying. Okay, some of you just have to get it at all costs. You believe so much that if I want this thing, I buy it. It doesn't matter whether I can afford it. The fact I can pay for it is enough. Now, what you don't understand is that there is a difference between affordability and payability. They are not the same. Okay, the fact that you can pay for something does not necessarily mean you can afford it. The fact that you can pay for something simply means that you have the cash to pay for it. The fact that you can afford something simply means that you can do it more times if need be. So if you buy a phone, okay, it means you can afford it. But the question is, if you're going home and that phone is stolen from you, what do? Can you go back and buy another one? That now is a question of affordability, right? So that's why it's good for you to use things or buy things or spend money on things that you can afford, not just things you can pay for, right? So those are part of the habits and behavior thing. Then we have expenses planning. Expenses planning is you making sure that things you spend money on are carefully itemized. Okay, things you spend money on are carefully itemized. You are not supposed to just spend money anyhow. You're supposed to plan your money. You're supposed to plan for your basics. You're supposed to plan for your you're supposed to plan your fixed expenses. You're supposed to plan your flexible expenses. Okay, you're supposed to plan everything that you spend money on. Nobody is supposed to just come and meet you and then you put money in you just transfer money to them. The reason why a lot of people are suffering from black tax effect is because of the fact that they don't have they don't plan their expenses. So somebody can just wake up and throw you a message or throw you one emotional conversation like that, and next thing you're making transfers. It's because of the fact that you are not grounded. You don't have a system that guides your planning. Because in expenses planning, right, you're supposed to have a giving pledge. A giving pledge is how you plan to help people, because that is part of the savings you're supposed to create. You're supposed to have a giving or charity savings, which is from where you sort people out. You help people, you help people that are not as, financially buoyant as you. But you don't have to do it at your own expense. One of my mentors told me once, make sure you don't help people to a point where you will now need help yourself. And make sure you don't help people to a point where you now begin to look like the people you're trying to help. All right. So if you don't have an expenses planning process, you're going to fall for black tax, and before you know it, you're working so hard, but at the end of each month, you have nothing to show for it. It's because of the fact that you're being sucked. Your lifestyle is designed in such a way that anybody can come in and run over your finances. People can come in and waste your stuff. Anybody that, for the people, family and that visits my house, they know that one of the taboos in my house is that you don't waste things. Wasting things is a taboo in my house. You don't come to my house and waste things. Why? Because if you waste this stuff and it gets exhausted before time, I will have to bring out money to replace it, and that is not supposed to be. Even God himself, the Almighty God, hates waste. So why should you take it? Some of you cook food, you throw them away. People come, they take more than they can eat. They just treat the food anyhow. They drop the thing in the trash. That is financial irresponsibility on your part. You're designing yourself in such a way that you're not going to make progress. Now, savings system, right? So there is a process around savings, but the first and most important thing you need to understand is, what is savings? Because a lot of people confuse hoarding with savings. Hoarding and saving are not the same. Okay? So you could actually be hoarding money thinking you're saving. So what does it mean to save? This is defined as your ability to keep aside a specific percentage of every income for predetermined future use, right? Your ability to keep a specific percentage of every income, not some income. Savings is not what you do on the days you feel like it. When the money is big, I'll save. I talk with some people, maybe I'm speaking or I'm running a train, and they say, this thing you're saying is hard and my money is so small, I can't save now. It's because of the fact that you don't understand what it is. Okay, saving is not about the amount, it's about the habits. It's helping you to build a habit that can help you even when the money is more. Because if you cannot save when you're earning a little, you can't save. I'm telling you from experience that you cannot save even when you're earning much. So the income or the size of your income is not the reason why you're not saving. It's because of the fact that you're just being financially responsible, and that is most likely because you don't even understand what savings is. So savings is about you putting aside a specific percentage of every income, every money that comes into your life, for a predetermined future use or a predetermined future purpose. So if you don't have a reason why you're saving, your savings is useless. It is when you don't have a reason for saving, that is when you're holding money. You're just keeping the money, piling it. So you can't even invest the money. You can't use the money to help yourself. That's why you see people who hold money, they have a lot of money in their bank account, but their life is still miserable. Life is miserable because they're just holding money. They're not saving, right? So the things that will make your savings really make sense is number one is that it's a specific percentage. So you don't say by amount. Specific, right? You don't say by amount. You don't say, okay, because I just earned this, let me just put this amount. No. Go by percentage. Okay, percentage is important. By the time I will teach saving system, in one of these classes, I'm going to show you why using a percentage is more important than using an amount. Because when you use an amount, Sometimes you will feel good, you just save a lot. Sometimes you will feel down, you just save a little, and sometimes you don't even save anything because you're using amount. But if you use percentage, it does not matter the money that comes in, you will bring out that percentage. That is why even God himself did not ask you to give him any amounts that you earn. He said, give me a specific percentage. Specificity is very important in driving progress. If you're specific in what you're trying to achieve, it becomes important for you to know exactly what you're trying to achieve, right? So it has to be specific, okay? A specific percentage of every income. So number 2 is every income, right? Not some income, but every income. That is very crucial. Every income, right? A specific percentage of every income for a predetermined future use. That's number 3 now. Future use. Not just future use, but what? Predetermined. Predetermined future use. So you must have, before you start saving, before you create a single savings, know what you're saving for. What is this savings for? What am I trying to save for? Am I trying to save for a special purpose? Am I trying to save to shore up my emergency, my emergency fund? Am I trying to save for investment? Am I trying to save for charity purposes? Am I trying to save for personal education? Am I trying to save for fun and personal enjoyment and all of that? You must know exactly why you are doing this thing. That is what will help to give your savings direction. That is what will help to give your savings purpose. Because if your savings does not have purpose and it doesn't have direction, it will be haphazard, it will be anyhow, right? That's why you see some people save from January. They will stay faithful and save from January to December. Then they will travel home, and within the period of Christmas they will blow off everything and come back and start all over. Their life are in constant circle because of the fact that they are saving. They don't even know why they are saving. If you know why you're saving, you will not spend all your savings in a particular event that is in no way related to why you put the savings aside in the first place, right? So these are 3 things that can help drive your lifestyle design. If you can design your lifestyle to be able to have good money habits and behavior, right? Design your lifestyle in such a way that you have your expenses planned out. Design your lifestyle in such a way that you have a savings system. Like there is a system for savings. Part of that system is that it must be automatic. Like you don't have to think about it. You don't have to, if you have to think about it, most likely you're not going to do it. Yes, if you have to think about it, most likely you're not going to do it. And the second thing with your saving system is that it has to come first. It has to be on the top priority list. Because if you don't make it your savings a priority, you will try to spend, then save what is left. That is a grievous mistake. If you try to spend, then save what is left, I'm here to let you know that nothing will be left for you to save. Nothing. One of the reasons why you're struggling with your savings so far could be because of the fact that you have been trying to spend your income, then try to save what is left. The ideal thing for you to do is to design your system in such a way that you save what is immediately the money comes. Specific every income predetermined future use is automatically transferred to a designated account, right? Then you now spend what is left. That is how God also asked you to give him money. Okay, your tithe is supposed to come out immediately. You get your money, you bring out your tithe. So I tell people, after paying God, the next person you need to pay is yourself. Okay, you need to get that right. After paying God, the next person you need to pay is yourself. Then after you have paid yourself, then you can pay every other person. It is very wrong for you to pay God and then pay every other person and you don't pay yourself. That is why it seems like God is not blessing you. You say, oh, tithe is this, tithe is that, and all of that. Let me tell you something. There are principles of wealth. Okay, one of the universally connected principle of wealth is giving. Okay, giving is a universal principle of wealth. Be you a Christian, be you a Hindu, be you a Muslim, be you a spirit, whatever you are, giving is going to be one of the ethos that you will have to uphold, right? Because of the fact that it is one of the ways you open the vaults of the universe in your favor. Givers never lack is not a cliche, it's actually a truth. When other people have a stake in every money you make, you're going to improve your spiritual positioning for wealth attraction, right? That is why the richest people in the world are the most givers. They have a system that is instituted for them to give. And it's so funny that Giving is rewarded by God and by man. When you give, do you know that your giving is tax deductible? Because actually, if you set up yourself properly, especially for those of you who run an agency or those of you who are digital entrepreneurs, right? If you set up your stuff properly, the amount you give is actually supposed to be a tax. You're supposed to get a tax rebate on it. It's tax deductible. The money you give from your business is tax deductible. That is why you see rich people running foundations, having NGOs and all of that. It is a systematic way of giving that gives them a tax advantage. So the government rewards you for giving and God blesses you for giving. So giving is very vital, but you have to do it the right way so that you don't put yourself in trouble. Now, when you have done all of this, when you have designed your life to make these things work in your favor, you are not going to have an outcome. Now, if you have done it correctly, you are definitely going to experience financial growth and expansion. But if you miss these things I've shared with you here, right? If you miss these things I've shared with you here, you are going to experience financial retrogression, and it does not matter how much you earn or how consistent your income is. You are definitely going to experience financial retrogression. So all those people that you have seen that work in top places, Shell, they earned a lot of money in their lifetime, but in their later years they were broke and broken. It was not because they didn't make enough money. It's because of the fact that their lifestyle was badly designed, and that produced an outcome, which is what? Financial retrogression. Okay, thank you for this part. I now wait for your questions. Let me get your questions, and I'll be willing to answer them. Okay.